Hi, everybody, and I'd like to welcome you to this webinar. Firstly, I'd like to thank the host, Eric Lofholm, who has over 10,000 students that he's trained, and we're amongst the lucky people who have got to know him and learn from his immense knowledge, skills, talent, and capabilities. It's my understanding that he has earned, from what I read, over $500 million for his students. Well, thank you, Eric, for the difference you've made in the world, emotionally and financially. And it's my honor to be able to present to you today. I understand, and I'm very aware, that the greatest commodity in life is time. And I'm really grateful that you're sharing with me this valuable commodity. And I take it seriously and promise to deliver to you information that makes it well worthwhile and helps you make a substantial difference in your life. I titled this webinar, Live Your Deserved Life, which is also the name of my website, liveyourdeservedlife.com. And it's my honor, pleasure, and privilege to present this life-enhancing material to you. My name is Benjamin Halpern, and I'm the author of this book, my latest book, Supercharge Your Emotions to Win. 7 keys to achieve the life you desire and deserve. Now, I know everybody on this webinar has a life that they desire and believe they deserve that is not fully yet in their hands. And in my professional opinion, which I know from experience as well, because everything I'm going to teach you now, I don't just talk the talk. I have walked the walk. I believe that by supercharging your emotions, by learning how to fully manage, control, and totally be in charge of your emotions is the most effective strategy for you to be able to achieve the life you desire and deserve. A little bit about me. I've had the merit of helping over thousands of people achieve emotional freedom. And the reason why I wrote this book is because from learning from over 1,000 plus people, I learned great strategies and I realized what was most effective and what worked. And my idea was to put it together in a book so people can get this information and I can make a bigger difference to the masses. I live with my wife and children on the Jersey Shore, which at this time of the year might be the nicest place in the world. It's a little bit different in the winter, but for right now, I'm proud to say one of the most beautiful places in the world. I work and have offices in New York and New Jersey. My official title is I'm a peak performance consultant. I do keynote speeches, and basically I create professional development programs. I created the Staying on Track program, and my latest program is this program, Live Your Desired Life. Rather, live your deserved life, which is the life that you desire. I've been doing this full time for 15 years as a peak performance consultant. Prior to that, I did it as being a sales manager and a branch manager for a bank. And then afterwards, I owned a real estate development company where I use these skills, tools, and technologies to be able to help people perform at their best. And then I moved into the sector of doing this full time because this is my love, my passion, and my life's work. So who's likely to have obstacles? Who's likely to have something in their way between them and the life that they desire and deserve? So of course, peak performers, because peak performers are not willing to just live an okay life. They want to have an outstanding life. They always want to do better. So in order to be the best that they can be, they're going to have to overcome the obstacles between them and their desired goals, dreams, and aspirations. Business owners, because business owners manage so many different things: sales, operation, management. So they need a lot of skills, tools, and technologies because there's so many different things that they need to do and juggle at the same time. Salespeople, especially commission salespeople, who first of all face a lot of rejection, faced a lot of negativity, faced a lot of uncertainty if they're commission salespeople as far as not having the security of a paycheck. So there's a lot of very strong and difficult emotions that are there. They need to be consistent. They need to play full out. They always need to be in the right state of mind to affect people. So definitely they are people that have obstacles in order to fully be able to achieve the life that they want. Someone going through a difficult situation or even a good situation, parents, especially new parents, somebody going through a divorce or financial challenges. Pretty much, as people, we're dependent on others to achieve what we want. And when we have to come on to other people, it requires managing them and living with disappointments from them, which wind up causing our emotions to be affected. These could present obstacles to the life that we want to create. So I'm assuming that you fill into this category of I have the honor of having you on this webinar. And now it's my pleasure to continue and quickly go over how common is fear and stress. Well, you'll be surprised to learn that it's the most common emotional challenge in the United States. And I want you to realize that anxiety, in essence, is a good thing. It drives us. It keeps us in our game. But like dessert, even too much dessert, it gives us a stomachache. Too much anxiety is problematic. And this problem of too much anxiety cost the world $1 trillion a year. So pretty common. Some quickly, fear and stress is the most common emotional challenge that affects over 40 million adults in America as we speak, or over 18% of the population. 41% of employees from a different range of industries report high levels of stress in the workplace. And globally, more than 600 million people's lives are affected with the effect of fear and stress. Now, again, like I shared before, there's a world of difference between you having anxiety and anxiety having you. It's okay to have anxiety, but when anxiety has you, it's a problem, and we're here to resolve that problem. The cost to the U.S. alone is more than $42 billion a year. Now, just that you understand, for the global economy, like we said, it's somewhere between 900 billion and $1 trillion in different estimates of different studies. So America, $42 billion. Now, quickly, I want to share with you that there's a study recently that came out that shares that your company can expect to pay upwards of $3,000 per employee based on their fear and stress alone. So this can affect you if you're a business owner big time. Now, if you're not a business owner, or regarding your own performance, let's think about it this way. What benefit could you have from learning the skills and tools to be able to manage your stress and anxiety effectively? Let's think of thoughts, if negative thoughts take you out of the game just a third of the time. That would mean that in a 250 workday year, 83 days you can miss it being productive, which means that by learning these skills, in essence, you get yourself a 33% raise this year. If you look at it a little bit in a bigger picture, every 4 years, you lose a whole year of income by just being off your game a third of the time. Now imagine we can replace that third and give you that raise. How much more money would you have? You know what you earn. You know what a third more would be. How much more joy and fun could that buy you? Well, I hope it's a lot, because this is what we're here to achieve in this webinar. Now, there are 2 outcomes that I have for this webinar, which I'm going to share with you right now. Outcome number 1, I believe it's time now that you live your deserved life. And I hope, if you're on this webinar, that you agree. Now, in this outcome number 1, what I'm going to share with you is 3 of the latest and greatest strategies to help you deal with anxiety, fear, stress in your life. And what you're going to get out of this is, just from today's webinar, you're going to have improvements in your quality of life. You're going to find yourself moving ahead much faster towards the life you desire and deserve. And you're going to have increased emotional freedom. Wow. Spend 1 hour and get all that? I'm here to deliver, I told you. I really appreciate that you gave me your time. And I'm going to give you a second outcome. You see, nobody ever taught you how to use the supercomputer between your ears. When you were a child, they taught you to walk and talk and brush your teeth and get dressed. But nobody ever taught you how to manage the supercomputer between your ears. And it's the most fascinating computer in the world. Scientists say we don't even use 10% of its capabilities. Imagine you can access it and use it, what you can achieve and what you can make happen. And that's what I want to share with you as my second outcome. I want to share with you about my newest program with the most effective and efficient skills and tools to live your deserved life, which is going to help you live your deserved life and realize ways to be able to release the blocks that hold you back with my tried and proven methods. You're going to learn how to unlock the emotional blocks, achieve the life that you conceive by forging ahead consistently, and have the tools, in addition to have it yourself, to help anyone that's in your life, whether it's your underlings, whether it's family, whether it's loved ones, to be able to teach them the best school technologies, the best skills, the best tools, the best methodology, that they live their deserved life in addition. How nice is it if you could live your deserved life and the people around you have that gift as well? So let's work towards creating your dream life. So today I said I'm going to share with you 3 great concepts that probably you have not heard. And if not, I guarantee you it's going to have a new twist, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to give it to you in a way that you can utilize it, integrate, and apply it in your life to create good things. First thing I'm going to share with you is that there's 3 key ingredients in anxiety, fear, and stress. Now, you probably imagine that those 3 ingredients are of miserable and negative nature, but you'll be surprised to learn what they are. Ready? Here we go. The 3 key ingredients of anxiety, fear, and stress is creativity, sensitivity, and intelligence. Yeah, you heard right. Why am I saying that? Having worked with over 1,000 people one-on-one and with thousands in presentations, I could tell you that everybody that struggles with stress has number 1, creativity. Creativity is the power for them to see what can go wrong in such vivid detail. Sensitivity allows them to become afraid of the vision that they created in their mind. And intelligence allows them to know what could go wrong to make the picture so vivid. In other words, the reason why they get held back from it is because they have such capability. Now, creativity, sensitivity, intelligence are the 3 best things that I would wish on anybody that I love. Nevertheless, those are the greatest gifts if you manage them. But if creativity creates the most scary fear or illness, and your sensitivity makes you become afraid of it, and your intelligence gives all the details to make it more vivid, you can scare yourself to death. You could be held back from doing what you need to do and know you need to do and what you want to do to be able to forge ahead and create the life that you desire and deserve. Let me give you some analogies so you understand what I'm saying. The difference of having a little bit creativity, sensitivity, intelligence, and a lot is the difference of watching a video on an iPhone versus an IMAX screen. You see, when you watch a video, a scary video on an iPhone, as scary as it is, big deal. But if you watch the same video on an IMAX screen with 3D glasses, and the fish pops out in your face, and the surround sound is around you, of course it's going to have a whole different experience. Even if you know you're watching it and it's being created by the screen, you're going to be affected by it big time. So when we have a lot of sensitivity and a lot of creativity, a lot of intelligence, it hits us. We get held back. So it's actually an amazing blessing that we have so much of this good stuff. We just have to learn how to manage it. It's great to have an IMAX screen in your mind versus an iPhone. As long as you know how to change the video, as long as you can put in an empowering video instead of a video that stresses you out. Another analogy that I give, it's the idea, the difference between having an 18-wheeler truck between your ears and a car. You see, a car, everybody can learn how to drive from their friends and family. An 18-wheeler truck, you need a special license. If you have a lot of creativity, a lot of sensitivity, and a lot of intelligence, you got an 18-wheeler truck between your ears. It's great. because she's pretty, baby. But in addition to that, you can drive anywhere you want to go, full with great things, and carry so much in tow, as long as you know how to drive it. So people that run into problems with stress are extremely capable people driving an 18-wheeler truck, but they don't know how to drive it. I like to tell people, I teach you how to drive 18-wheeler trucks. I teach you how to manage IMAX screens, because you're blessed. And I want to teach you how to utilize your blessing so it doesn't work against you. Basically put, anxiety is a gift that you need to learn how to unwrap. It's great. Creativity, sensitivity, intelligence, amazing. But you need to learn how to unwrap it in order to benefit from it and use it to work for you instead of work against you. Concept number 2. Let's talk about the difference between the logical mind versus the emotional mind. It's very important, because here's a question. Why doesn't our emotional brain follow our orders? If you tell your hand to touch your nose, did it ever argue with you and say, no, I'm not doing it? If you tell your body, get up, sit down, did it ever argue with you and say, I'm not doing it? How come your emotional brain doesn't cooperate? When I say be calm, let go, feel confident, feel happy, feel love, how come it doesn't listen? Who's the boss? The answer is that you're the boss. There's just a different set of languages that we speak to our logical mind versus to our emotional mind. Now, let me present it this way. Okay? Think of it this way. Imagine I took a bunch of road thick planks, long, tough wooden planks, and I put them down on the floor in front of your house. Would you feel comfortable to stand on them? Let's assume they're about 10 feet wide. So they're pretty wide. Would you feel comfortable? Of course you feel comfortable. You never stood on anything bigger than that in your whole life. You always walk on something that, nothing bigger than 10. That's like the sidewalk. And after you practice standing on these planks of wood for a long time, and I ask you, are you comfortable? You say, sure, I was comfortable before I started. I got no problem walking on planks of wood. I make one variable. I change, and I stick it out of the 80th floor of the Empire State Building across 33rd Street to the building across the street. Would you be comfortable to stand on those planks now? And the answer probably is no. Why not? So if I ask you why not, you're going to answer me and say, I don't know, maybe it's going to fall. Okay, I'll bring the engineering team that built all those buildings around there and all the bridges in the area around you, and they're going to substantiate it's 100% safe and secure. Are you going to stand on it now? Probably not. Why not? So you'll say, maybe a wind's going to come and blow me down. Okay, so I'm going to go and get the best meteorologists in the area where you are, have the best track record. They're going to substantiate no wind. Look, beautiful day out there. Are you going to do it now? Still not. Why not? Maybe I won't feel well. Okay, so I'll bring the whole team of the hospital in your area. They're going to substantiate you're totally healthy and well. You're going to do it now? Still not. Why not? I can sit and talk to you, and every argument that you're going to tell me as to why you can't do it, I'm going to find a way to make it logically okay. You're still not going to do it. Why not? The answer is because there's something deeper than logic, and that's called imagination. When you're about to step out on this piece of wood, you look down and say, hey, Ben, what are those little squares down there? I say, oh, those are buses. What are those small squares? Those are cars. You say, what are those little dots down there? I say, oh, those are people. And in your mind's eye, you see a red dot on the floor. That's you after you fell. And all logic goes out the window. Because when you imagine something going wrong like that, that's it. You're totally taken over. So I want you just to recognize that your emotional mind and logical mind don't counteract necessarily. Because even though logically I can say it's okay to walk across and you can agree with me, emotionally you still can't do it. So you have to be able to manage both of those minds. So it's important to recognize the difference and learn the language of your emotional mind and your logical mind. Yeah, let me present it to you this way. Imagine you want to keep your body in shape versus keeping your car in shape. Two different sets of rules. If you want to keep your body in shape, you got to exercise and beat it up. If you want to keep your car in shape, you got to put it in the garage and not use it. What happens if you flip the rules? You put a body in the garage, or you work a car every single day for hours. Well, it's not going to work well. the person who went into the garage and just didn't move for a couple of months is going to be dead. And the car will probably be in pretty bad shape. So you got to use the right rules for the right things. Now let's move towards the mind. What do you do if you're in a swimming pool and you want to get used to it? Logic says get out, do something about it. But is that correct? Of course not. Stay in the pool. What? Stay in the pool? Logic says you got to get out of it if it's cold. But we know you can't operate with that rule. When it comes to feelings, it's the opposite. Stay in the pool and you're going to get used to it. Right? The same idea with a mosquito bite. If you get a mosquito bite, logic says do something about it. But anything you do about it is going to make the situation worse. What you need to do is nothing. And that's when it goes away. So there's backwards rules. The brain basically is counterintuitive. And you need to recognize that. Because using the wrong rules to manage your emotional mind won't make it work. So now let's talk about how do we go about managing our emotional mind. So here's a fascinating study they did in Harvard. Listen up. They studied two groups of people, okay? One group of people were people that earned great things in life to the degree of a $500 million lottery, okay? $500 million lottery. The second group were people that had such a difficult thing happen to them that they lost to the size that they became quadriplegics. They became wheelchair bound, cannot move their hands and feet for the rest of their lives. Okay? Such extreme groups. And this study wanted to determine who is happier 12 months later. And you know what they found? 12 months later, ready? They are both in the same place emotionally, equal. They both ride what's called the bell curve. So the one that wins $500 million lottery is excited. By the time 12 months comes back around, he's back to his baseline where he started out. Life's back to regular. The person, unfortunately, who had this terrible tragedy rides that terrible tragedy, and by 12 months later, they're back to their baseline. So that means that emotionally, the maximum that it takes for something to pass is 12 months. Now, some things take a minute, something take 10 minutes, some things take an hour, something take a day, a week. But the maximum is 12 months. Well, I have met more than enough people who struggle with stress for a lot more than 1 year. So if, God forbid, these people were to become quadriplegics, they would be done with their problem. If these people, God willing, will win a $500 million lottery, they would already be back to their baseline and not excited about it anymore. But so that would have passed. But their stress is still here and still around. Why? Because we have to understand how to make changes and how to make that emotions should habituate, should pass, should go by. Okay? So now, why doesn't it pass? Because this bell curve needs to happen. Now, if you block this bell curve, then the emotion doesn't pass. If you just don't get in the way, naturally it will pass. The way you get used to a hot temperature, you get used to an article of clothing, you get used to sitting on a chair where it doesn't bother you anymore. You habituate to everything unless you block it. There are behaviors that we do that get in the way, that don't let us habituate. And becoming aware of that is major in allowing us to habituate to anything. And then we'll have the confidence that no matter what comes my way emotionally, I have the ability to let it pass by just riding the wave, floating the wave, surfing the wave, and not blocking it. So what are blockages that we do to not allow this to habituate? Okay, so not so clear, but I'm going to explain what it is. There are safety behaviors and there are avoidance behaviors. Now, let me give you some examples. In other words, you block the fear from running its course, okay? So what are some examples of safety? Avoiding business opportunities. So you hold yourself back because you don't want to feel fear. It reinforces the fear. It doesn't let the fear ride out. You block the wave from the left side as you're going down those little dots. You block it. You don't let it run its course. You avoid sales calls. You know, if it's a physical thing, you walk around, a safety behavior could be, that's avoidance behaviors, which is escapes. Then the safety behaviors, you can walk with a water bottle in tow just in case you're going to get dehydrated. You could walk next to a wall or with an umbrella to protect you from falling. Then there's avoidance behaviors. You can avoid relationships. There are avoidance behaviors. You can distract yourself from your emotions with food, alcohol, drugs. You can distract yourself with movies, social media, if you're using it for that purpose. You can do safety behaviors. You can seek reassurance from family members or professionals. Doing that holds the process back from you habituating. So just recognize what you might be doing that's not letting it go, and recognize there is no feeling that ever will stick forever. It goes up and then it comes down. It's the way it works. So if you won $500 million lottery, you would get used to it. And if God forbid something that bad happened, you would get used to it. You can override your anxiety a lot quicker than a year by removing the safety and avoidance behaviors and make it happen in that way. Now let me share with you what I consider 5 distinctions that will make such a difference in your life and help you forge ahead through anxiety, fear, panic, and stress. Ready? I'm going to quickly go over the 4 and then I'm going to explain them to you. These 5 distinctions will set you free. First one being what you do want. The second one being what you do control. The third one, pain versus suffering. The fourth one, goals and expectations. And the fifth one, excitement versus incitement. Ready to roll? Here comes number 1. Anxiety is focusing on what you don't want all the time. Distinction number 1. What you do want. You see, most people know what they don't want. Very few people know what they do want. And let me explain this to you with this analogy. Imagine you get into a taxi cab and the taxi driver asks, where to? And you tell the taxi driver, not 15th Avenue, not 25th Avenue, and not 48th Avenue. How long is it going to take for you to get to your destination? Forever, because you didn't tell them where you want to go. Knowing what you don't want will not help you get what you do want. Knowing that you don't want to be stressed and you don't want to be anxious and you don't want to be frustrated and you don't want to feel unloved does not help. Your brain is the ultimate taxi driver. It can get you anywhere. It's a supercomputer. But you got to know what you do want. You got to know exactly what it looks like. If you get up tomorrow morning and life was the way you want it to be, how would it look? But in the positive sense, focusing on what you don't want drives anxiety. Focusing on what you do want drives your brain to get it there, to get you in that direction. So if you wrote down what you want tomorrow, you'll be shocked to see. Take a card, take an index card, write down what you want tomorrow in a sentence. You'll find that it'll have negative in it. I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be frustrated. I don't want to be angry. Write what you do want. Just rewrite it, what I want to have, and you'll be shocked how quick your brain will move you in that direction with that one change. But I have more for you. Distinction number 2. Anxiety is focusing on what's out of your control. You see, there are things in life that are in your control, and there are things in life that are out of your control. People that are not anxious focus on what you could control. People that are calm focus on what you could control. People that are anxious focus what's out of your control. So let's use this analogy. If you're driving in a car on the highway, your goal is not to die in an accident. And most likely if that was to happen, it would happen from somebody outside that would crash into you. Nevertheless, you don't focus on controlling other people on the road, because if you did, you would be anxious. So you focus on the steering wheel, even though that's not what's going to save your life most likely, but you know that you can control. And as long as you focus on that, you're going to feel a sense of control. So in the sales process, focus on the part of the process that's your control, your performance, the way you act, your spiel. Don't focus on their result or the way they're going to act, because if you do that, you're going to feel out of control, and that's going to stress you out. Just applying this distinction will make a massive difference in your performance, whether it's with a loved one, whether it's with a prospect, whether it's with the boss. Focus on the part of the deal and the interaction that you could control, and you'll be shocked to see what a difference just this little point can make in your life. But I have even more for you. Pain is put onto us by the universe. Suffering we bring onto ourselves. Very, very important distinction. Let me explain you this concept. You see, Life is glued to pain. Everything we dream about, money comes with pain. Children comes with pain. A lover comes with pain. Everything comes with a dose of pain. The only thing that's not painful is drugs, alcohol, and suicide. Running away from life. Life, everything we dream, has pain associated with it. Pain is not a problem. Everybody could live with pain. Everybody could tolerate pain. Suffering is what's not tolerable. And we have control to make something be painful versus suffering. Suffering is what people can't deal with. Suffering is what causes people to do crazy things, and you don't have to suffer. Let me explain you the difference. Here's an analogy. There are two people that I know very, very well. They're both married for 15 years. They both got married with intent to build large families. One of them was blessed with 8 children. One of them, unfortunately, did not have any children, despite trying her best. Which one of these two women has more pain? Think for a second. Now, most likely, you're going to answer the woman with 8 children. I'm sorry, the woman with no children, who wants to have children. And you're wrong, because the correct answer is the woman with 8 children. I'll explain you why. The woman with 8 children had 8 childbirths, no night, no day, her children totally in her life, affecting her life, totally doesn't have freedom. She has a lot more pain in her life. But if I reworded that question, which woman suffers more? The answer would be the woman with no children, even though she has no pain. She sleeps when she wants, she gets up when she wants, she does what she wants, she has freedom. She suffers because pain does not equal suffering. Pain plus not accepting equals suffering. The woman with the children accepts her pain, and therefore she doesn't suffer, she only has pain, and that's livable. The woman who does not have children does not accept her pain, therefore she suffers. So there is a certain level of pain in your life, but as long as you recognize that those are labor pains to put forth the life that you desire and deserve, and you accept it, you just have pain. Pain is very tolerable. But if you don't accept the pain, if you don't accept the pain in the sales process, if you don't accept the pain in creating a relationship, if you don't accept the pain in building a business, then you're going to suffer, and suffering is not tolerable and sustainable. But if you accept it and realize that's part of the process, it's just labor pains to build and give birth to your new life, to your dreams, to your desires, to your aspirations, and you accept it, you don't suffer. Just this one point will move you from suffering to pain and keep it sustainable and set you up in a way that you could continue doing what you got to do to forge ahead to the life that you desire and deserve. Now, just this distinction can make a massive difference in your life and keep you away from enormous amount of suffering and challenge and holding you back. But I promised you I'm going to repay you for this gift of giving me your time. So I'm giving you even more. Distinction number 4. Distinction number 4 is the difference between goals and expectations. Let me explain you. It's very, very important to get this. You see, goals are your dreams, your aspirations, where you want to go. It pulls you in that direction. It empowers you. You get out of bed excited every day to forge ahead towards your goals. Expectations are a different story. Expectations are what you expect from yourself that you must do. Go to work, obey the law, pay taxes, pay my bills. Now, an expectation must be met. A goal doesn't have to be met today. Let's say I have a goal of making $1 million. If I don't make $1 million today, I'm not going to be frustrated. I'm going to reevaluate my progress and move towards making $1 million. That's if it's a goal. But once I have the expectation to make $1 million today, I'm going to be frustrated. The way to become frustrated is to have an unmet expectation. It's built in that if we don't meet an expectation, we get frustrated. So be careful not to mix them up. Expectations are good. If your expectation is to go to work and obey the law and pay taxes and pay your bills, and if you don't, you're going to get frustrated, that's good. It's like your bottom, buffer that holds you up at the bottom. It's the platform you stand on, that this is what you must do, and it keeps you from not falling below. It has this alarm that makes you feel frustrated if you don't keep up to your expectations. But if you make your expectation your goal, you're going to be frustrated every day of the year. The perfect way to be frustrated is to have unmet expectations. You should be meeting your expectations 90% of the time. So don't mix them up. Your goals should be great because your goals just pull you up. You don't get frustrated if you don't meet a goal today. You just change course and try a different way. But if you don't meet an expectation, you're going to be frustrated. So now that we understand the difference between goals and expectations, I want you to be aware that expectations are divided into two categories: high expectations and unrealistic expectations. You need to recognize that there are expectations that you have of yourself and of your environment and of people around you that are totally unrealistic, which means you're guaranteed frustration because they ain't going to happen. Then there are high expectations. Then if it's high, basically means to say that chances are you're going to be frustrated. You're not guaranteed to be frustrated, but chances are you're going to be frustrated. But if you have realistic expectations, you're guaranteed to be happy and not be frustrated. You got to go through your expectations and make sure that they're realistic. Because if they're realistic, you're going to wind up living a frustration-free life. Now, I'm going to share with you one more thing. When you're working through to find your expectations, find them in 3 areas of your life. There are expectations that you have of yourself. And ask yourself, what do I expect from myself? Then there are expectations that others have of you. Society, parents, boss, spouse, children that have of you. Now, you have to be careful that you don't allow that to bog you down too much and affect you. You have to be less affected by them because you don't control it. See, the expectations you have of yourself, you can ask yourself, do I need to actually have that expectation? Or can I lower? But when it comes to what other people have of you, you can't change it. You just got to learn how to be less affected. And the third category is expectations you have of others. And you got to ask, do I really need to control that? Or can I lower that expectation? If you lower the expectations you have of others, you lower the expectation, you get less affected by the expectations others have of you, and you lower the expectations you have of yourself, you're guaranteed to live a frustration-free life. But make sure that your expectations are not too low because it has a benefit. It's going to hold you accountable. So your expectations should be lined up where you hit it 90% of the time. So you're frustrated only 10% of the time. So that's pretty realistic. Now, if you do better, you can up your expectations. Slowly but surely up your expectations that you're still hitting them 90% of the time. So it's good to pick up the platform because then you won't fall beyond that bottom. So keep on upping the bottom as your performance ups. But goals never change. Goals keep up there. As long as you don't mix up your goals and your expectations, you recognize goals are above you. Expectations are below you. Expectations push you up and goals pull you up. And just set up goals, the massive goals. Run a marathon, climb a mountain, learn to play an instrument, write a book, make loads of money, do loads of sales, hit the quotas, find the best and create the best relationships that you possibly can. And expectations, make sure you keep them realistic. Not mixing them up will do enormous for you to be able to not live in frustration and rather live in good emotion, because good emotion is where you need to be to forge ahead and create the life you desire and deserve. Just this alone will make a massive impact in your life. But I promised I'm going to make a massive difference, and here's distinction number 5. Excitement versus incitement. Imagine two people coming down a ski slope. Now, both of them are panting for breath when they get down to the bottom. Both of them are sweating. Both of their hearts are beating fast. And you ask one of them, what are you experiencing? And they say, this is great. I love it. I feel adrenaline. I can't wait to get back up there and do this again. And you ask the other person, what are you experiencing? And they say, a panic attack. I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying. Call an ambulance. Physiologically, they both have the same exact experience if we put them on machines in a doctor's office. Nevertheless, they have a total different experience. And more than that, science shows it as a total different experience on their body. The person that's excited, it's therapeutic and healthy for his body. It's good stress. And the person that feels like they're dying and they think it's the worst thing, it's damaging for their body. Stress science shows, studies have been done, that if you are friendly with stress and you think that the stress that you have empowers you and moves you and drives you to live a better life and to perform at your best, it's actually therapeutic and healthy for you. And if you believe that stress is going to kill you and ruin you and hurt you, it's damaging to you. So whether you would describe it as excitement or you describe it as incitement, that's what you'll have. As the saying goes, the same way whether you say you can't or can't, you're right. Well, whether you call it excitement or incitement, you're right. So understand, changing your paradigm as to what stress means will change the effect stress has on your body. It's that simple. So here's a great concept that will make a difference in your performance because you're going to live longer and be healthier, and the feelings that you're going to have and nurture you instead of break you. Now, having shared that with you, let me share with you how to get the life that you deserve without having to break the bank. Okay, let me tell you some of the things that you'll be able to get in this process. Number one, you're going to acquire state-of-the-art skills and tools for emotional freedom. You're going to achieve the life you desire and deserve fast. And I wrote fast because, in my opinion, life's way too short to figure this out on your own. You got to get this fast. I designed it in a way 15 weeks and you got it because you have to get this quickly. In addition, you have to live a calm life full of quality of life. People on their deathbeds, their regrets are, why didn't I live quality of life, juice of life, do what I enjoy most, experience the best emotions, experience a life with gratitude. It's your choice. You just have to learn how to do it and access it. And of course, experience your most desired emotions all the time, or at least regularly. That's a realistic goal. Now, I want to make a crazy offer exclusively to participants of this seminar because you gave me the gift of your time. Let's quickly go over what you're going to get. I have this program on the best e-learning platform out there, so it's easy to use and accessible from anywhere, from regular computer, from mobile apps, from anything. It's easy to view video lessons that I give and virtual coach Ben. I'm totally there with you. The lessons have exercises to integrate. It's not just knowledge that you could buy a book. It actually is specifically designed so you can integrate it. It'll help you apply what you're learning. It'll help you get all the information you need in the shortest amount of time. And additionally, I have an offer there where if you need and want to work with me one-on-one, directly related to the program, there's a special offer there that I only offer the people in the program. Now let's look at it from a financial standpoint. At the minimum, if you're making a drop on the $53,000 a year, so I picked the average median income, okay? A 33% raise by performing 33% better in that time that you're stuck, which is a typical amount that's reasonable to assume that the average person is, that's a raise of $13,200. Every 4 years, that adds up to a full year of income, was $53,000 of income extra. Now, you're assuming that I say, hey, give me half of that. Now, watch. How much more happiness, joy, and fun would come if you were able to create all that in life and have that much more money? What could you do? Where could you travel? What could you do for your loved ones? What type of experiences can you have if you live your deserved life? Now, what I'm willing to present to you is a $200 savings offer because this online program content is worth well over $497. It has 35 plus exclusive videos, worksheets, proprietary worksheets, instructions, additional information on resources, an online community of professional individuals who are members, access to be able to get one-on-one training. There's a private vlog to my membership that shares the best helpful information and practical applications with real clients that I'm working with, and it helps you apply the material that only you know because you went through this program and have access to it. And priority access to any new trainings, books, and other webinar and offers that are going to be available. So what's if you do nothing? Well, at the minimum, the same thing is going to go on that you have now, minus the possibility that this will continue going on in life, and it might lead you to job loss or other negative things and not live the life that you really want to have. So definitely you won't get this raise. But even more than that, the regrets that you're going to have as you get older, that you didn't give it all you got and play it full life. Here you have the ability to be able to get everything you need to create real lasting emotional freedom in your life. I give clear, you can watch and listen to my instructions on all the PDF exercises you need to do. You can record your own thoughts. It's designed that way. You have ongoing support in my membership community to overcome anxiety, fear. The true value of what I present to you is priceless. It's quality of life. It's playing at your best. It's going to be, as you get old, to look back and not have regret, to know that you lived a life that you always desired, and you fully lived the life that you deserve, and don't have to look back and regret that you missed that opportunity. All you need to do to be able to get access to this program for the $200 discount, so all it's going to cost you is $297. You just have to go to my website, liveyourdeservedlife.com, and it'll give you all the information, very simplistic process to be able to get in. That'll give you access to everything that I shared with you. And most of all, it would be such an honor for me to be able to lead you, to be able to be the person that does this for you, because this is my mission in life. This is my biggest drive in life. I've done this for over 1,000 people one-on-one, and I'd love to add you to my list of successes, of people who were able to live the life they desire, and we both know you deserve. Thanks so much for watching and giving me your time, and I look forward to being of your life, a part of your life in this special way.